the beginning of my so-called luckiness, serendipities, coincidences, etc. started with the building of this $2.3 million company. Why? Because for one, they were looking for experienced stainless steel welders. I ended up talking to them and giving me a chance to do a stainless steel welding test for them. I had already been honest as to the experience I had, which was in welding regular mild steel. Again, it was also funny that my friend who told me about this opportunity didn't know or tell me that it was stainless steel experienced welders that they were looking for. I'll be honest though and say that they were hard up for stainless steel welders, which are hard to find. What a coincidence, huh? They were backed up for weeks and weeks worth of welding to do. The contractor even set up the welding machine for me to do a welding test. Normally they have one do it because they only hired experienced welders, stainless steel welders. And needless to say, I passed. I shocked myself. I've never done it before. You see, I had focused and believed on all the reasons why it would work. This book and movie that I had read and seen brought it all out. It said there was a science of getting rich, and it's an exact science like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain universal laws which govern the process of acquiring riches, health, and happiness. Once these universal laws are learned and applied, one will manifest, create wealth, health, and happiness with mathematical certainty. The ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things in a certain way. Those who do these things in a certain way, whether on purpose or accidentally, like I did, get rich, while those who do not do things in a certain way, no matter how hard they work or how able they are, remain poor. It's a natural law that like causes always produces like effects. And therefore, any man or woman who learns to do things in a certain way will infallibly get rich. And now I would like to share with you the part of the story, of my true story, that captures all I've said in a nutshell to be truth, God's truth. I will make it short and concise. I lost everything. Everything. Even my wife of 35 years. Looking back now, I can tell you why. It was because I stopped thinking and doing things in a certain way, like I always had. I grew up. I became part of this real world. I changed my focus. I changed the way I believed, started thinking in a negative way. I stopped appreciating what I had. I stopped loving myself. I wasn't happy. And truthfully, I didn't know why I wasn't happy. What I do remember is asking myself, is this all there is to life? Is this all there is to life? I will tell you this, if I hadn't experienced this, losing everything, I wouldn't have picked up and read this book, Science to Getting Rich. I, from the bottom of my heart, believe that what I experienced in my life was for a reason, and that is getting first-hand experience at what I'm sharing and teaching now. That's why I wasn't happy towards the end, even making that kind of money. I didn't have a real purpose. I have a purpose now. It's like the understanding of all this has come together for me. Ever since I was exposed to this knowledge that I'm now teaching, my life is now back on track with the so-called luck, coincidences, serendipities, like meeting Pastor Tim and Bob Carver, being in the right places at the right time, etc. But the big difference is that now I know it's not luck. It's more than that. It's tapping into these universal laws, God, excuse the language I used to have, which we all have access to, that inner kingdom. It's what beliefs you have about life and yourself, surrendering to the divine, what you focus on, appreciating what you have, being grateful, taking inspired action, being clear with your intentions, visualizing the end result. It's loving yourself and being happy that gives you access to these universal laws, that inner kingdom. And now I know that feeling good is the fountain of youth. It is the river of wellness It is the stream of abundance. It is the way to all those things that are important to you. Is feeling good. Believe me, I know firsthand. Ever since I read the book Science to Getting Rich, I've had the compulsion to discover the key or the recipe to knowingly activate these universal laws, as I so called them. And what I have learned here at this church, it is your relationship with God. Amen. A real relationship, though. A real relationship. Constantly through prayer without cease. Asking God to help you rid of these limited way of thinking. Rid of those negative thoughts. Help God help you by making that effort. Be aware of what you are dwelling on throughout your day. Help Him, and you will have access to that kingdom within which will change your life. You may say, but there are a lot of things to worry about. This is where the faith comes into play. And you will discover how much you really believe in God. It takes effort, time. But as you see positive evidences show up in your life, it will make it easier. Early on in my search, I learned that there is a spiritual renaissance, or as it's referred to in the Bible, the New World Order, that we are literally embarking upon. With my life's experience and what I have learned to date, I have so much to share and have a desire to be part of this New World Order and spiritual renaissance going on. In part of my journey, which was a miracle in itself, went throughout the States living with different people. How that happened was a miracle in itself. It's a long story, I don't want to put you all to sleep. It is. I stayed at about 5 or 6 different places throughout the States. How I met these people was, again, another miracle. Everywhere I had gone to, they all handed me a bunch of, not hundreds, thousands of dollars worth of DVDs, information. And this was all outside of religion. I got away from the Bible because of the way that I was raised up. I didn't have a father who shared things with me at school. He was so focused on the Bible, I lost him. I didn't have him there. So that made me not like the Bible. I believed in God. But it made me shy away. That's when Pastor Dale and Bob had showed up with their Bible. I kind of like, oh. But when I asked him, do you believe that God lives through you? He says, oh yeah. I said, oh. Do you believe about how important it is to live in the present? Oh yeah. Oh. My Bible started looking better, or not as bad. Anyways, to continue as far as the rest of this journey of mine, everywhere, what a coincidence, that everywhere that I went to, I was handed all this material, but again, it had to do with channeled material. And you know what channeled material is? It's when somebody lets themselves be used, or spirit speaks through them. Quantum physics, metaphysics, anyways, you get the idea. It was all outside of the Bible. On the 5th place that I had gone to, what a coincidence! On the 5th place that I had gone to was with Brother Bob Carter. He also handed me, well, I don't know if he handed it to me, but I had to go look. A bunch of DVDs. But it was this time. What a coincidence! What a coincidence! My life has been like that. Full circle. All outside. Now I'm inside. Everything, my favorite one was the Gospel of John. The thing was, that everything that I watched, that I looked at, it's a movie.